Now we get to the nitty gritty, the tactics. Who's up for tactics? Yes or yes? Yes. Good. Well, you need what I would call gun and bullets. The gun is information for the probate, meaning the personal representative, the executor, the beneficiaries, the real property, if there was any, which we want there to be real property. And then you need phone numbers. Now there's two ways to get data. The first way is you go to the courthouse. The second way is you use a third-party provider. Now, I'm gonna go through both of them, and I'm gonna give you pros and cons of each. So by going to the courthouse, the con is you have to physically go. At first, I went like 6 times, and then I taught my mother-in-law how to do it, and I paid her to do it. She needs some extra cash, bro. She needs something to do, right? But you have to figure it out, because then you're at the whim of somebody else, yeah? Now, that's the con, but there's 3 different pros. The first pro is you are in control. If you're taking notes, write this down. Whoever controls the lead controls how much it costs. You should burn that into your brain. Whoever controls the lead controls how much it costs. You know who's realizing that right now? People who are in bed with Zillow. Can I get an amen, yeah? Second is frequency. I want to get this data as fast as possible because again, who knows about it are investors. And they beat it up with mailings. They don't really call that much. But you know how many listings I've gone on where they'd be like, hey Aaron, I want to show you something. After they sign the listing agreement, they would dump out a garbage bag of mailings with perfume and pictures of their grandparents and all these other things that people are doing on these mailers to try to earn business. Okay? So I want to get it frequently because if I get it, let's say once a month, they've already been beaten up by investors. That's like getting old expires. Make sense? Okay. And then the third thing is, in terms of like these lead sources, the data is complete. So I want not only the personal representative or the executor, the person who's in charge, I want the real property, but I also want the beneficiaries. People that are involved in the estate. Why? Do you know how many homes I've listed because I couldn't get a hold of the personal representative or the executor, but I got a hold of the beneficiary, their brother or sister. They gave me contact information and then we listed the property. Make sense? Now, the second way to get the data is through third-party vendors. I'll give you a few of them if you want to write them down. One is all the leads and another one is US probate leads. There's others out there. Those are 2 that I'm familiar with. Now, the pro to that data is that you just pay and they send it to you in a CVS file and you can load it up and call, okay? It's easy. 3 cons. 1, you're not in control. Whoever controls the lead controls how much it costs. Expect them to raise the price for that data over time. Yes? Yes. 2, frequency. A lot of them only send it to you once a month. I want to get it every single week. When I was doing this in high volume, doing 60 of these transactions a year, we had 3 different people at 3 different courthouses gathering data, okay? And then the third one is that oftentimes, again, the data is not complete. So they might give you the personal representative or the executor, but they don't give you the beneficiaries. And again, I want all of it. Make sense?
Yes.
I'm sorry, energy. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Where do you go in the courthouse? Like you go there?
Yeah, you go physically and there's a probate division. It's there in every courthouse. And then I would go with a cup of coffee and go speak to the clerks and ask them. The only way that this information is not public is if the person has all of their assets in a revocable or irrevocable living trust. And 95% of the US population does not. People think because they have a will, they avoid probate. That's not true. Now, some courthouses across the country, so here's the thing. This is not a uniform process. Generally, it's the same, but like when you zoom down in your geographic area, they might do a little different. So some courthouses I've seen will allow you to pay to get access. Other ones you have to physically go. So you have to be like willing to put in the time to figure it out. And I'm glad that it's difficult because if everybody could do it and there wasn't a barrier to entry, everybody would do it and the pay would drop dramatically. Yeah. And what I would propose for you guys to do is go and then like document what you're doing. So you could create Zoom, like Loom videos, like an SOP, and then find somebody in your life that needs a little bit extra cash just to go. Yep. How much? $2 a lead. And what they would do is they would take that information and then we would use Forewarn to get contact information. Now the thing with Forewarn is they don't do batch. You have to do one at a time. So what she would do, she would go, grab the data, go back home. Then she would look up the information, put all of the data into, let's say, Follow Up Boss, because that was the platform that we used, even though they just changed a rule recently that you guys should know about. I just did a post about it. So, and then I would be able to call and text and email from there.
In North Carolina, or maybe everywhere, so when the home does have a loan attached, you're supposed to put notice in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Have you tracked any probate listings from?
Yeah, I think that's okay. I think either one's fine. Like what you have to figure out in that geographic area is which comes first. I'm imagining, with a high degree of probability, the initial pleading comes first. Then it's posted. It's like a notice to creditors, essentially. Yeah, and the initial pleading in Florida anyway, the initial pleading comes before the notice to creditors. So if you get the initial pleading, you'll get the contact information, and then you can go directly to the consumer. Yeah. Now we get to like what to say and how to say it. Yeah. So time doesn't permit for me to go through the whole thing with you, but I'm going to give you the opener because always people ask me like, how do I engage this conversation? And here's what you definitely don't want to do. Everybody look at me. You definitely don't want to do this. I heard Grandpa Jim died. You want to sell the house? Don't do that. Okay? You'll be surprised. Some of the people I taught this to, they're like, man, I'm not setting any appointments. I'm like, well, that's why. Okay? If I was reaching out and calling, I say, hi, my name is Aaron. I was looking to speak to Susie with regards to the Wilson estate. Right? And they say, yeah, this is Susie. Great, Susie. Well, as I mentioned, my name is Aaron. I'm a local real estate agent here in blank, wherever the property is. And I specialize in probate and estate sales of real property. I was reaching out to you this morning because my head researcher pointed out to me that very shortly, if not already, you will be appointed the personal representative in the, forgive my pronunciation, blank estate. And I realize I do sincerely that I may be a little premature in some way. I was calling very respectfully, of course, with regards to the real property on 1265 Plum Street, simply just to find out if you and the rest of your siblings, Tom and Susie and Jim, if you guys had decided at some point you wanted to put that home on the market and to get it sold. Done.
Nice.
Okay? Now, let's break down what's happening. How many people besides me ever had somebody call them and you couldn't figure out why they were calling and you hang up? Yeah. So if I call and say, hey, I'm looking to speak to Susie with regards to the blank estate, immediately you're like, what? I need to talk to this person because this is top of mind. I'm thinking about it, right? Okay. Then, yes, so Susie. Great, Susie. My name is Aaron. I'm a local real estate agent here in blank. I'm letting you know who I am right away. And I was reaching out, very respectfully, of course, with regards to the blank estate. Do you see what's happening? I'm also deploying tactical empathy. I'm letting you know that I recognize that this is sensitive. I realize that I may be a little premature. I was calling very respectfully. You hear what happens to my tone? Mm-hmm. Yeah? That's on purpose. It's tactical empathy. Now, I mean it, okay? I do. I was calling very respectfully, of course, with regards to the real property on 1265 Plum Street. So now you know why I'm calling. Simply just to find out if ultimately, at some point, because I recognize, are they going to be ready to do something right now? No. Oftentimes not. Some of them are, but oftentimes not. At some point, you and your siblings, Susie, Tom, and Jim. Why am I bringing up Susie, Tom, and Jim? Personal. In your mind, what do you think? He knows these people, and he's super familiar with the situation. And what does that do to their probability that they're going to speak to me? Dramatically. Yes. Simply just to find out if ultimately at some point yourself and your siblings, Susie, Tom, and Jim, this is why I want all the data, yeah? If the goal and objective at some point was to get that home on the market and to get it sold, quiet. They're either going to say one of three things, yes, no, or we don't know yet. Now from there, the conversation splinters and we could take it from there. Time doesn't permit for me to go through all of it, but that's the opener, okay? That's how you initiate this conversation. Well, what's up?
We don't need lunch.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Hey, are we having a good time?
Yeah.
All right, we're having a good time. Good. So now, the thing I want you to be clear on is anybody can help them to sell the house. Anybody. Anybody who has a real estate license can help them sell. Whoever adds more problems wins. Write that down. Whoever adds more problems wins. For all of my brothers and sisters who have gone through probate with family members, what type of problems arise? Go ahead. My brother said, everything. What? Like what?
They got tons of crap. You got.
Our loved ones have tons of crap. Hey, you ever notice that my stuff is stuff and your stuff is crap? All the stuff that like everybody like they loved and curated, like family comes in, they're like, bro, this is garbage. Let's throw this away. The Yadros and all the stuff that like make no sense now, right? So they got all this tangible personal property. What else? Disrepair. They need perhaps some handyman work to get it up to like, current standards so they can sell at a price that's meaningful. What else? Disagreements among siblings about who's going to do what. Everybody's got that one that still lives with mom, even though they're capable of not, right? How do you navigate that? Shipping stuff back to family members who can't come. Yes? So what we would do, and the way I would pitch this to people, is I actually had a project manager on my team. And what I would say to people is like, hey, I don't know if this is helpful or useful in some way. Okay? I have a project manager on my team. Her name is Melissa. She's my personal assistant, which potentially makes her your personal assistant. It's okay. You want to include her in the conversation? Which potentially makes her your personal assistant. And what she would do is she would be your liaison for any of the ancillary services that we may need to engage. Can I explain to you what I mean? Sure. Well, let's say we decide to do an estate sale, right? Because the estate gets a write-off for that. She will have the estate sale people come in, give us a quote. Nothing happens until you say okay. Once you say okay, we'll let them in do the work. We connect you for payment. Now, let's say we decide to do some handyman work. We will have vendors come in, we'll get quotes, so on and so forth. If you need stuff shipped back to family members, we have a company, a lady that owns a UPS store. She'll meet you at the property, box it up, and ship it. We actually had someone on a probate we did in Wellington, a little bit north of here, where the guy passed away. His sister was the person. She lived in like Ohio. And he had a 3-car garage with 2 collectible cars and entire like memorabilia. And the rest of the house was like a mess. We had a vendor come in, clear out the whole garage, put on a truck, and take it back to her to Ohio. Bro, you see why she listed with me at 6%? Even though all commissions are negotiable? Here's the cool part. They would ask me, hey, is there an additional fee for this? I would say no. You know, what I'm aware of is you have a lot on your plate. My intention here is to add value and to take as much off of your shoulders as put on ours and make it as smooth and easy as possible. So every time, who would win the listing? Me. And all I'm really doing, if you think about it, my project manager is just like a assistant. We're just like getting people in.
It's all the stuff we do anyway.
It's all the stuff we do anyway. But you see how I pitch it. She's my personal assistant, which potentially makes her your personal assistant. Now let me ask, anybody who's gone through a probate, if you had a personal assistant helping you with all that stuff, would that be helpful? When you're a complete 5 states away, you have your own family, your own kids, your own stuff, yes?
Yeah.
People be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Do you see? Whoever adds more value wins.
Let me talk to my friend before I sign anything.
I understand like the desire to do that. I really do. Can I share with you my personal experience having helped a lot of homeowners like yourself with friends or family that have real estate licenses if they do decide to talk to them first? It ends up creating a dynamic where you feel kind of this like emotional arbitrage, and it's really, really uncomfortable to tell them kind of what's really true for you and what you're really after because they are such a close friend. And it's not uncommon that I've seen homeowners end up hiring their friend out of a sense of obligation or kind of emotional